Okay, now here's something that just occurred to me this afternoon that I think might help enlarge understanding understanding of the other side, and that one to the other, and might help the FE users who have no clue about FI and don't relate to it and have never looked into it, what it actually is, what I aim to do is to destabilize on the part of either side of this divide, to destabilize anyone who thinks that one function has it over the other, and then if the possessors of the other function would just get with it and behave more like them, then everything would be better. I completely refuse this proposition. And I find it unsound on multiple levels, theoretically, in practice, on and on. So anyway, I really want to address it because I think that what would make the world a lot better place is if the heavy FI users, and again, from the idealist group, let's focus on the idealists who are actually interested in working in this area and are very preoccupied with human relations and psychological understanding. All the NFs are hugely preoccupied with this. So the better the NFJs can understand the NFPs and vice versa, the more good work we can all do in this area. So this is really important to me. I think this is a really interesting area. Holy shit. So something I know that's come up in talking to you a lot. So here's a parallel. Here's a parallel I think is maybe, or here's a kind of framing of a parallel that you and I have already kind of discussed around already. And that is, you've talked about how, and I know about this through the theory too, that, that the INFJs at least, again, are while emotional, are very, very, very good at exceptionally good at understanding the emotions of others. They don't actually feel most of their own emotions with anywhere near the keenness and depth that the NFP people do. The FP people do, I should say. Now, by the same token, we on the FP side, we have so you could say that there's an area for the let's just sorry, I can't, I'm leaving somebody out here, but let's just say the INFJs. Okay, so that's an area that is that doesn't hurt for the INFJs, that hurts a fuck of a lot for the NFPs. And again, if you don't understand that, then you go and judge the NFPs for crying in pain because they're in pain you've never experienced. How reasonable is that? How compassionate is that? Not very. Really not. So yeah. On the other side, from the NFP side, where we don't feel pain that you people do very keenly, is when there are negative emotional reactions from people who don't share our value systems. And usually our value systems, the NFP's value systems, are usually very evolved. Again, just as TI logic is usually very complex, very carefully thought out, at great length, to great depth, with many, 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 many parts, many, 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 many different trees within it to understand the structure. FI morality is also like that. FI is primarily concerned with exploration of the value systems. And yes, part and parcel of that is a very high emotional sensitivity, which kind of, and I think of the high emotional sensitivity almost, and this is not in the theory at all, but at all, it's just something I'm thinking of, but I think of it as almost like maybe it's the case that the high emotional sensitivity is kind of a necessary thing to make sure that the FI users do what they're supposed to be doing as functioning units in society, which is paying way more attention to way more complicated moral systems than anybody else. That's kind of our function in society, is to keep an eye on that stuff. That's what we do. So, and it's not a very fun thing to do. It would be a lot easier, I think. Sometimes I'm not jealous of the people with FE, but it must be nice to just feel so confident and fine about, oh, we'll just do this, this is what is done. So do that and everything will be fine. Like, it must be really nice to not have to check in with all the shit that we do as concerns systems of values related material. Okay. So what we have is a kind of numbness, or you could think of as, maybe, if it's useful, as anesthetized parts of ourselves, that parts of us that are impervious to things that the INFJs are not. You people are bogged down and bothered and hurt sometimes. You're very uncomfortable. You're made uncomfortable by the vibes of the crowd. You can't help it. That's what's happening. It's a very negative experience for you. It's very uncomfortable. And I have a lot of compassion for that. Now that I know that it's there, and now that I know to think of it, it's something that I feel for you people about, and that I will be more mindful of now in my behavior. I'll try. It's there. It wasn't there before. Before I had any understanding of the differences. Now I'm starting to see some things I didn't see before and consider them now. So the NFP, the way I think of it is that each side is operating these are not opposites on a pole, FE and FI. They are working on completely different levels, on completely different things. But the functions, the effects of each of these functions high in a cognitive stacks of various people in the group called, the NFs, for example. I'm leaving out the SFPs right now, which is wrong theoretically, but I'm too tired. I just can't. It's hard enough to just get these basics out. Anyway. Heavy FI users and heavy FE users are absolutely essential. Both of them are, to the healthy functioning and the balanced functioning of a society. And they're doing their jobs, if you will, are completely different things. FE is supposed to make sure that everything's going smoothly and there's harmony and whatever, which is, of course, absolutely essential. What FI is concerned with is investigating the true morality of things and looking very far in a complex way and interrogating, are the values that society is operating on, are they really worthy? Are they really for the greater good in the long term, in the complex view, not the just like what's going to make everybody feel good right now view, what's going to make everyone want to hold hands right now, but in a much deeper level. It's moral truth. That is what FI is all about. So again, I'd be very surprised if most of the INFJs, with their unbelievable soulfulness and perception and intelligence and big view, you people should understand that. You should be interested in moral truth, I think, right? I mean, just not should as in, finger wagging. I just mean, doesn't it make sense that INFJs, with all that they see and all that they help with in the world, shouldn't they have some appreciation in a neutral knowledge sense of what FI really is? I think it's worth knowing about. Okay, so that's what FI is fundamentally about, is the search for moral truths, deep ones, enduring ones that have case, so we're doing the same thing in evaluating those moral truths, we FI people, that the heavy users of TI are doing when it comes to other abstract truths, scientific truths, logical truths. But they're both highly systematic and complex, and they both involve a kind of very complex reckoning that goes way beyond the present moment. It goes way beyond like what's expedient. It goes way beyond what's going to work for just today to get stuff done nicely and fast. It's important. And again, it is certainly not anywhere. I don't even care to make a case that it's as important as FE, although, this Jungian system does seem to have this kind of polar dynamic to it. But I don't even care. I don't care to make a case that FI is even as important. It's not that I know it's true or not true. I just don't give a shit. What I am fighting against, though, is this idea on the part of heavy FE users that FI is is nearly worthless compared to FE. That to me is completely fucked up. It's very profoundly ignorant and unbalanced and ridiculous, frankly. So there's that.